Hi guys, how you going? Campbell here from Autodidactic channel. Hope you're having an amazing day. And as always, autodidactic means to be self-educated, and in this world we need to be self-educated. Because if we're not self-educated, we won't find out about these strange melted castles all over the place. And today I want to talk about a couple I've found in Turkey. My last video was on King Midas's castle, which is melted. And when I was doing the research on that, these things just started popping out of the woodwork. So I thought I'd show you a few more. So what we have on the screen is Hosap Castle in Turkey. And as you can see, it's just... I mean, we've seen, castles like this before that are built on rocks like this, but was this built on this rock, or is this rock melted? Is this some melted part of it? Because when you look at this castle, I mean, look at that. We've got this sort of nice castle here, and the back's just, it looks like it's melted down, because when you look at it you can see there's these kind of layers. Okay, we've got sort of a bit more strata down here, and down the bottom here we have some, I don't know what these are, bricks or tops of something else. Strange lines here, another wall here. I think these are windows or something. It's just a very strange looking thing. We've got this sort of bit jutting out here, and then around it there's like a moat. Down here it's a big sort of moat looking thing. And even these, see how they're round, that and that? I mean, what are they? Are they the tops of something that might be lower in the ground, or was lower in the ground? Not really sure. And then even in the background we have stuff like, look at all these kind of steps. I don't know, and that. So anyway, this is Hosap Castle, so let's have a look. Okay, so Hosap Castle, this is Turkish archaeological news. And it says Hosap Castle is an imposing fortification and the main tourist attraction of Güzelsu village near Van in eastern Turkey. Perching dramatically over the road connecting Van and Hakkari, the castle has been recently renovated and can now be visited if you can attract the attention of the custodian who opens the gates. The castle's name in Kurdish is Kayla Zosabi, and it means beautiful water castle. The name is reflected in the Turkish name of the village. Güzela also means beautiful water. Naturally, both names come from the river that flows nearby. Now this place is like in a desert. I'm sure there's a river nearby, I didn't see it, but there's not much beautiful water near it, at least not now. This is another shot of it. It says, although the castle is not particularly old for the local standards, as it only dates back to the mid-17th century, it was almost certainly erected in the location of a much more ancient Eurasian fortress. According to Mehmed Top, an archaeologist, the history of Hosap goes back to the Kingdom of Eurasia, when it was a military stronghold standing at the crossroads of two strategic roads. The area was later conquered by the Persians and then controlled by the Macedonian army of Alexander the Great, who then went and cut the Gordian knot. The usual succession of Seleucid, Roman, Byzantine empires followed as we get that story. Yeah. Okay. So that's it. It's built in the mid-1700s. Not a lot going on. That's all they really say. There might have been, things there beforehand. They're saying it was to guard the crossroads to two nearby towns. And it says during Ottoman-Safavid War, fought between 1532 and 1555, the Muhammads supported the Ottomans and thus earned numerous privileges. They continued their semi-independent rule of Hosap and erected the magnificent castle that can be seen here today. It was constructed by Sari Suleiman Mahmadi the chief of the Mamudis tribe in 1643. The Mamudi Beys used the castle well into the 19th century until Tanzimat reforms reorganised the provincial administration of the Ottoman Empire. The Ottoman Empire, that was one of the last sort of bits of Tartaria, basically. So built in 1643 on a rock. God knows how. How did they build it? Where did they get all their stuff from? Same old story. That's all we get as far as history. And there's not a lot on this castle. So yeah, basically they don't really know, as usual. And oops. Just wanted to have a look at some pictures of lava. Now this is just dry lava runs. Just to sort of show you, I mean obviously lava is melted rock. And you know, this is a kind of thing that you get, the kind of look. Whoops, that's not the picture we wanted. And it just looks like rocks. This is fairly new, that's why it's still black. And see this, this is all lava. So this is what it looks like, melted rock. And we get all these squiggles and swirls and layering. That's a dried lava flow there. Look at that. So this is what melted stone ends up looking like. Just some of these landscapes are just what we're starting to see around these castles. Look at that one. That's not a very good picture, but you can see again that's radioactive. So this is, lava. This is what it looks like. This is how it breaks up. And this is just melted, obviously stone from, well, they tell us from the middle of the earth or from down low. And so is that what's happened to some of these castles? They've melted and that's why they're looking like they do. Let's have a look. A few more pictures of this Hossap castle. And this is the front side, and this still looks pretty intact. We've got this discoloration, so I'm not sure what that is, what that's from. But it looks pretty intact, but you can see up the top, looks like something's hit the other side. This side. No, it's a pretty interesting castle, and oops. See, you can always see, all these sort of striations. They're all, they're all running this way like this. Just the shape of it looks like it's a big, round tower. We've just got all, I mean, it just does not look like a natural rock formation. We're told, it's wind and, there's different parts of the rock have different hardness and some get blown away and some don't, but I don't know. What do you think? This is a shot from a bit further away and you can just see this thing. I mean, it's just bizarre. And so we get things like this. Let's see, they look like bits of wall or something. Then down here, where it's supposed to be joined to the rock, that's what they tell us, it was built on the rock. Doesn't look to be joined all that well. And if you come down here, this is all just blown out by something. Heat, I don't know, just this bit here is affected, and this is quite black in here. So are these bits that have come down and they're all melted? Because, we have this sort of flowing look, like, we saw some of the lava look like this. It sort of flows, and I mean, look at that, just sticking out there. And if we go up the top as well, if you look at this join, see how we get bricks coming down, and it's just kind of, got a bit of a seam there, and then it just kind of turns into rock. It's not really, you can't see where it's laid on the rock. It just kind of turns into rock. It's a bit blurry there, but sort of as close as I can get. But see that? It just kind of turns into rock. Up here as well. I mean, what's going on there? And see how this is on an angle like this? I mean, was that standing upright? Like, was that flat? And it's all sort of melted and fallen down this way? I mean, I don't know. Now again, like, Subphonic has done a lot of work on, you know, sort of melted stuff. And there's lots of it around. He shows mountains and things, you know, bits in the Grand Canyon. But it's pretty interesting stuff. Alright, sorry if you can hear a bit of a noise in the background. I think my neighbour's come out and decided to mow his lawn. So hopefully it's not too loud. This is a shot from the inside. And as you can see, this, I don't know, something's smashed this. Maybe that was a turret and the back's been smashed off it. You know, all this looks, I don't know. See how it's all just, brickwork's fine to here and then it's just all popping out. Same down here. And then in the middle, it looks like we've just got more, I don't know, big pile of rock. And this, like these, these pillars, what are they doing there? Like just on the top of this bit of rock. And again, look at the join. I mean, you would think to build a castle like this that was strong and held onto the rock, that would need to be a pretty good join, but it just doesn't even look joined, does it? Looks like there's gaps all the way down. And this, you can just, again, it looks like something that's been melted that's just kind of gone bleh, like that. And so is that what it was? Did this, you know, come out a bit further and it's just gone in and melted, you know, this bit of the wall? Again, you know, I don't know, guys. We're just asking questions. Asking questions. Questions are much better than answers. Because, of course, if you don't ask the right questions, you can never get the right answer. And look at this shot. Now, again, down here it looks fine. It just doesn't even look touched. But up here, something has smashed the crap out of this. Even the top of this is still there, but just underneath and across here, it's just like something's gone boom. And it's kind of blown the top of this bit off. And again, just see how you can, it looks like there's, you know, levels and stuff in there. Just bizarre. Even down here, you know. So what went on, and if this is melted, what could cause this? You know, are we talking volcanoes or are we talking something else? This is like a wall, or the top of a wall. You know, it's got a bit of damage, but this bit here is just gone. And it doesn't even look properly I mean, what? It just doesn't look right, does it? Look at this. They don't look like bricks or anything, and it's right on the rock. It's not even tall. Like, what's it doing there? And then all these are sort of irregular shapes, the top of them. But this, see how it all just sort of runs down like that? Again, it's not the best photo, sorry, but see that? And down here, see, you can see there is actually a bit of a taller wall. But here, this is just, I don't know. So was that, again, I don't know, is that melted? Was that the top of something bigger? Another shot, I mean, it's just bizarre, isn't it? Another shot, and again, we've got the bricks. See across the bottom? And this is supposed to be the foundation, you know. But they're all separated. Like, and that's what happens with heat. You know, they sort of pop apart if they get hot. You know, that if it's rock, it expands, and, you know, no doubt all the cement just dries out and stuff. And but what's happened there? Like, they're all, so they're not even joined properly. This has just been decimated, this bit here. But again, see this. This is clearly bricks. But if you look at these, look at the bottom. You know, you can see the bricks here. But so that looks melted. Like this, they're not bricks anymore down here. You know, what has gone on down here? Again, this is the foundation of this massive wall, and it's just a big hole there. It's this, like, what's going on here? You can see there's a bit of rubble down the front. So something has hit this, and look at the top of this. Okay, so we know that was brick like this, and squared off. And look at that. And look at this. We've got a square window. Square, 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 square. And then look at this one. I mean, it's not even in the center. It's not over the doorway. But so is that just melted rock run down like that? Who knows? Pretty interesting stuff, though. Again, this is one of the doorways, but look at this join. Like, look at that. Big holes everywhere. That brick seems to be bent. See how it's all sort of going downward, and down? And just not joined any of the way down. So what do you think? This brick's just sitting in there, and it's sort of half in the wall and half in this rock. It actually looks like it might be joined, but this picture's not, the resolution's not good enough, but I mean, you can clearly see that's just not even joined to the rock. Something's going on there. And then down here, see that? It just all looks like it's, yeah, so very strange. And you can see it's all brick up here. Look at this as well. See the top of this rock wall, you can see there's brick. Man-made stuff. And it, again, it just kind of turns into this rock. We've got these two sort of little lines. So I'm not sure if they're melted bricks. I don't know. But clearly there's some bricks there, and you can sort of see remnants of bricks up here. But then it just, you know, look at this down there, and then it just suddenly it's rock. You know, and this looks like it's flowed down. This guy's worked it out. He's, what's going on there? This isn't right. You can see, you know, the beautiful old world architecture. It looks like they've filled this door in. This is clearly a different kind of rock, different colour. So that was probably a massive doorway. Another view. And that, I mean, see this? It's just on this big sort of angle, like, it's just gone bleh. I don't know, and this just looks like it's just, you know, flowed out. There's something else down here, like another turret or something. Here. And this is that wall we saw. And see again, it's on top of this big melted thing. And someone's house has fallen over. Okay, so that was Hossap Castle in Turkey. And now I wanted to take a look at Eagle Castle, or Eagle. I'm going to call it Eagle. And look at this. Clearly, I mean, look at that. Come on. This, you can see it goes straight into the water, and there's, you know, doors and tunnels and things under here. But look at that. I mean, that bit there looks like the base of a giant column, doesn't it? But then look at all this stuff. And with this, you can see, I mean, look at this bit here. It literally blends into the rock. See that the front of this is the rock. And it comes down, you know, something, maybe this was, you know, a veranda or something, but that bit's missed out. But you can see there's a big door behind there, something, you know, tunnels, there's a door here, and more doors down there. So, Eagle Castle was built by Assyrians in 5000 BC. It has an interesting structure, it sure does. It was set on a unique rock. It is clear that the castle was very hard to conquer. It was surrounded by walls which have partially survived until today. It was used as a depot and shelter for both soldiers and civilians. Here's another shot of it. And you can just see, look, this big turret here, I mean, and you can just, this background bit, you know, we've got windows and stuff here. This is, and they're rounded off. This is just a big melted castle as far as I can see. I mean, what does that? What does that to something? So the excavations made in 1946 show that the province dates back to the Middle Paleolithic age of 20 to 15,000 BC. A lot of local caves, the caves, which were once inhabited, belong to this period. Throughout its long history, Eagle was the cradle of many civilizations. Assyrians, Eurasians, the Byzantine Empire, Roman Empire, the Ottoman Empire. There are also Assyrian kings' rock graves, which still stand despite centuries. Good place to put a full stop. The graves and caves around them can be seen northeast of the castle on the coast of the dam. So this is a dam, they're saying, okay. They were built by carving the rocks into the shape of Egyptian scarves. Okay, and this is in the Middle East. Okay. Here's another picture. I mean, this is part of the castle. Look at that. I mean, what does this? I mean, that is just, and you can see, I've got better photos I'll go through in a minute. You can see there's brick in there. This is brick. They call these caves, they say that they're caves so that people could, well, they don't really know, but, you know, 4 tunnels which can still be seen today were constructed by carving the rocks. They are thought to have been built to reach safe places in case of an emergency, so I'm not sure what they're saying. They're probably joined on the inside, so maybe they're this, but I mean, that, I don't know, that just looks strange. See how it's in a perfect line going down. This is some shots of the inside, and as you can see, you know, staircases, and guys, it's brick. That's brick. It's not carved rock. Can you see this? Let's see if we can get a better picture. Hang on a sec. So yeah, and look, this is just a sheer face, and look at this, it just looks like melting. But look, all through here, this is brick. Okay, where were we? Well, hang on, what's going on there? Yeah. Okay, sorry. This is just another shot of the area. I'm not sure, can't see a lot there. This must be it up at the top. And look at this. I mean, it's just, you know, straight into the water. Big round, you know, tower. Got windows in them. And look at that again, that just becomes the rock. I mean, they're trying to tell us that this was carved. So what does that mean? That it was this shape and they've carved out the inside and put windows in it? Or have they carved away? Because that's not a natural shape. And it literally, it becomes this, what we're told is rock. And clearly down here there's another level. Look at this. And down here another one. And you can see these lines. You know, it just looks like it's melted and collapsed. I mean, and look at that. That's just melted. I'm not sure what's going on the other side over here, but that's just melted. And this is, look at that, that's man-made, that's sculpted, that, and straight into the water. And if you look here, that's brick. Looks like someone's written something there. Yeah, that's brick. Brick. You can even see it in the roof there. And up here. And then literally it becomes rock. And then how big was this place? Look at this shot. You know, you can see here, it's got carved out bits everywhere. All through here. You can definitely see there's levels in there. You know, there's another little tower down here. Walls. And they say this is a dam, so I'm not sure what's under the water here. It's just, but look at this, it's just ridiculous. Now this was built in, they tell us this was carved, right? They built it 5000 BC. 5000 BC in what they call the Middle Paleolithic. So what tools did they have in the Paleolithic? This is what they had, guys. This is what they're telling us. This is the mainstream narrative. They tell us that these are the tools of the Middle Paleolithic 5,000 years ago, and with these tools, they built this. They built this. Right? They carved this out because it's carved, right? It's not made of brick and melted. Well, not that they want to tell us. And yeah, all done with this, you know, bits of rock. You know, some crude sort of rock picks and stuff. I mean, not really much at all. You know, you look at these tools, and they're all really hunting tools. You get tons and tons of these flint ends. And some, you know, copper tools for farming. And copper, you can't carve rock with copper. You know, like, you've got these flint rods, you can do a bit of wood. That's about it. And these are their axes. And their hammers are literally just stones. You know, they've got things like this they can beat the rock with. And also, this is what they tell us the tools of Egypt were when they built all the stuff in Egypt. I mean, this is ridiculous. So, what's the deal with melted brick? I just put melted brick into Google. And I got lots. Like, look at this. This is one. You can just see it's all melted up here again. See what happens? All the bricks start to come apart and crack. You can see here they expand. These bricks, see how these have popped out? Right? So this is what melted bricks, these aren't quite melted, these are heat affected, but you can see. And we saw this kind of stuff near the joins, didn't we? They've all come apart and they crack and they don't fit together properly anymore. Now this, I actually saw a Subphonic video the other day and he showed this. I just found it when I put in melted bricks. Look at this roof. This is melted brick. I mean, look at that. That is not, it's just ridiculous, right? And you can see this is all brick, all brick, all brick, and melted brick on the inside. So what happened there? And there's tons of it. Look at it. Melted brick. Who would have thought? Another melted brick, and you can see it just, you know, blobs out and runs. And look, there's a face there. It almost looks like Tesla. More melted bricks on the roof. There's tons of this place. This is in Russia, I believe. This, you can see, this is a brick that melted in a kiln. And you can see the flow of it. This is what it does. Just flows out. We get holes, little sort of indentations. And it just flows. Like lava, I suppose. Again, this, look at these. They're all melted and popcorning, you know. Popping out, and I don't know why it's every second row. Maybe they're different kinds of bricks and these are easier to melt, but now these are the effects that you see with melted bricks. Look at this one. This is the outside. I mean, these are newer bricks. These aren't old world bricks. And look at that. It's just, you can see the mortar stayed there, which is very strange, and the bricks have melted out. They obviously had a house fire. And more melted bricks. So this is just so that you can see, you know, the effects. So when we're looking at these pictures, hopefully you can see a bit more what I'm trying to say. Because look at this. This is a pallet that's been melted, and you can see it just, these are obviously hollow, but see how it's collapsed down. So you could imagine if this was a building, because obviously buildings have hollow floors, just like that. That's what could happen. Literally melt down like this. And this is the kind of thing we see. Again, melted bricks. There's that house again. That's just bizarre. You know, melted bricks, you get this kind of crackling effect. That's not a brick. Again, you can just sort of see they pop out. So there we go, melted bricks. Again, you know, this is how they sort of crumble in. Get this kind of effect, which we see a lot. And that's what melted bricks do. So let's have a look at some pictures of Eagle Castle. This is it. And straight away you can kind of see, you can see this line, and it literally goes right around the back there. Got the tops up here. Look at this, perfect circle in the rock, is what we're told. Even up here looks a little bit suspect, doesn't it? Okay, look at this. I mean, it's just ridiculous. So this is where you can see this literally turns into, you know, what we're calling the rock face. I mean, I guess it is rock now, right? But you can see, you know, is that brick in there? I don't know if I can get in any closer. But just look at this. Just something big has gone on here. You can see the levels here clearly. So has that just like collapsed down? And you can see again here different kind of levels, and then straight into the water. And just look, just windows everywhere. the ones that didn't get melted over. And I don't know what this is. It just looks like the bottom of a massive column. It's got a doorway or a window or something here. This is that turret, and you can see here it is brick. Wish I had better contrast, but that's that brick that's been slightly melted. That's sort of got that runny look on it. And the whole thing's just been... And it looks like it's just been flash blasted and just the outside's melted, because we've still got this shape here. And when you look around, everything's melted. You know, some things seem to just sort of have the outside done, and some, like this, just looks like it's completely melted. There's a massive cave, whatever, down there, entrance. But this part of the castle looks like it hasn't even been touched. It looks perfect. And we've got a bit up here in this, I don't know if that was part of it. There's a massive, massive cave hole down there. And again, look at this. Now this is, and they tell us this was carved, you know, with those tools that we saw. I don't know, what do you reckon? Because look at the line here. See that? And that looks like it's a collapsed pillar. I don't know. But clearly they didn't have the tech to carve this 5,000 years ago. They just didn't have it, as far as we're told. And they've done this. They've just, you know, told us they've just carved, you know, because they had some spare time after carving that whole castle. They thought they'd just carve this gateway. Why not? And make it extra large. Look at the size of this guy. I mean, even to get a cart through would only need to be that big. Look at this. This bit's still standing. But you can see, you know, this side here looks a bit heat affected, so you can see the crack in this. See how it just looks like it's all slightly bigger? It just doesn't fit properly anymore. Got another crack down here. Steps, and then behind it, just look at all this. These are, I guess, are the caves that they were talking about, that people dug. And look at this. Look at that wall with 2 windows in it, and clearly that's bricks up there. And so why would they build this? Clearly out of bricks or, you know, stone of some kind. And then the rest they would just go, oh yeah, that was too hard. Let's now just dig out this rock face. That doesn't make sense. You can't really see, but I'm pretty sure I've got a photo in here that does show the bricks pretty well. I mean, here, this, see these steps? We saw this one before. Clearly that's not carved rock. I mean, it's just too rough. You can see segmentations going, you know, up and down all the way along it, and then we get this melting look all over it. And then up here it looks suspiciously bricky. But look at that, I mean, it doesn't even go anywhere. Why would they carve that? You know, the story is just ridiculous. So, you know, whatever happened here, something happened, and it's not that people turned up and just started carving stairways to nowhere for the fun of it. Again, I mean, and see along here? See, we've got like these rounded bits coming out. I mean, it looks like there's a floor in there, and then up here, bit of a roof. It just looks like a, you know, all bits of man-made structure. Look at this little bit down here. It's still got its pointy roof on it, a little tower. More towers, doors going into them. This one's right on the water. because that's where you would put a door. They'll probably say it was for boats. But the work that's gone in, and even if they did carve this, look at the top here. This pops out, and then we've got a nice round, and this, you can see, that's a dome, that's sort of like a stylized dome. So even if they did carve out the inside, which the story says, why would they then go on the outside and, you know, carve what looks like a melted dome? They would either do it perfectly, but I mean, they wouldn't do it at all. They couldn't do it. And look at the levels down here. Just all the way down, like steps. And then at the bottom, I don't know, is that brick? So, you know, melted castles. And you can just see, like, did it go up? Is this how big it was? I mean, it looks like it, doesn't it? Right up to, it looks like it was this whole thing was a massive castle. And this, see this? Just see the shape of it? It's obviously got grass growing on it, but that just looks like a flow. Whoops. That way. Looks like a, you know, like a flow, doesn't it? A lava flow or something. I mean, it's just melted. I've got nothing else to say. I mean, it has to be. It just, look at it. It looks melted. You can see remnants of bricks everywhere. It definitely couldn't have been carved. That's a silly story and impossible. And again, you get some bits like this that are just completely melted, but this bit next to it is, you know, it's still carved really nicely. It's still got its shape and everything, but this is just, this bit's been melted, just melted. It's a little bit lopsided, but then we've got the top of the tower on top. You know, so the story doesn't make sense at all. And this is interesting that there's this gap here. And again, see this? Looks like brickwork. And look at this door, perfectly carved. And again, look, looks like bricks. So there you go, guys. That was Eagle or Eagle Castle. This one is in Russia, I believe. I'll leave all these links in the description as well. As always, Turkey, it is Turkey, yep. So these are both in Turkey. And there's a lot going on in Turkey. Obviously, we've got Göbekli Tepe in Turkey, which they say was actually filled, like, buried on purpose. And there's just stuff like, there's a few more castles like this around Turkey. There's ruins everywhere. And again, Turkey is one of those places, you know, it's smack bang in what they're telling us is, you know, one of the cradles of civilization. But the cradles of civilization, if you haven't noticed, are always in the middle of deserts. And why is that? That confused me from when I was a little kid. That just didn't make sense, and it still doesn't. But now, you know, because we can, if you look at the map, there's that big scale across the earth, top of Africa, right through Asia, up into Russia. And then we've seen the Sahara, and there's stuff destroyed all the way across it. This is up in Turkey. Again, cradle of civilization, but, you know, everything's been wiped out. It's just a desert net in these days. And when you look at it, you know, what hit it? What happened here? Because this is all melted. It's just all melted. And, of course, there's no trees anywhere. You see a couple, but there's no forests or anything in Turkey. It's just all desert. You can see what the landscape's like. It's just been smashed. I mean, they look like ruins too. I don't know. Stuff everywhere, but it's been hit by something pretty dramatic. I mean, what would do that? So there we go. Hope you enjoyed that one. Couple of castles from Turkey. Eagle Castle, and was it Hossack Castle? So thanks for spending some time with me, and I'll catch you on the next upload. Bye for now.